It was a chilly morning in the enchanted forest, and snowflakes softly blanketed the ground. Oliver the gnome bustled around his cozy mushroom-shaped house, getting everything ready for Christmas. His tiny home was nestled beneath towering pine trees, their branches heavy with snow. The roof of his house sparkled as icicles hung like crystal chandeliers. Inside, the fireplace crackled warmly, casting a golden glow on the stone walls. Oliver carefully placed shiny red berries and tiny golden ornaments on his Christmas tree. Outside, his yard was filled with colorful lanterns, candy canes planted like trees, and a sled ready for adventure. As the morning sun peeked through the frosty trees, Oliver stepped outside to sweep snow from his porch. Suddenly, a golden envelope fluttered down from the sky, shimmering like sunlight. It landed gently in the snow by his boots. The envelope was embossed with intricate patterns of holly and snowflakes and sealed with a wax stamp shaped like a goose. Oliver picked it up, marveling at its beauty. The forest around him seemed to hold its breath as if waiting for him to open it. Oliver opened the envelope and pulled out a letter written in golden ink. It was an invitation to a grand gathering hosted by the Golden Goose in the Valley of Glittering Snow. The letter explained that the Golden Goose was seeking help to prepare for the annual Christmas Eve feast, where all creatures of the enchanted forest would gather. Excitement bubbled within Oliver. He knew this was no ordinary task and felt honored to be chosen. Oliver dashed back into his house to prepare for the journey. He packed his magical satchel with essentials: a lantern glowing with fireflies, a warm scarf knitted from enchanted wool, and his trusty map of the forest. He added a small bundle of cinnamon sticks and dried oranges, gifts for the Golden Goose. With everything ready, he slipped on his pointed boots and set off, his heart filled with anticipation. Oliver's journey led him to a frozen stream winding through the forest. The ice sparkled like diamonds, and tiny fish swam beneath the clear surface. He carefully walked across, his boots crunching softly on the ice. Snow hares and deer watched curiously from the banks, their breath visible in the frosty air. As the sun began to set, Oliver entered the Whispering Pines, a mysterious part of the forest where the wind seemed to carry soft voices. The tall, ancient trees swayed gently, their branches heavy with snow. Oliver listened closely as the trees seemed to hum a cheerful Christmas tune, guiding him deeper into the forest. Tiny, glowing snow sprites danced around Oliver, their laughter like the tinkling of bells. They flitted about, creating patterns in the snow and leading him along a hidden path. Oliver marveled at their beauty, their wings shimmering like frost in the moonlight. Oliver reached the Valley of Glittering Snow, a breathtaking sight. The valley was covered in snow that sparkled like a sea of diamonds under the starlit sky. In the center stood a grand gazebo made of ice and gold, surrounded by glowing lanterns. At the heart of the scene was the majestic Golden Goose, perched regally on a crystal pedestal. The Golden Goose welcomed Oliver with a nod, its feathers glowing softly. It explained through magical signs that Christmas Eve was in danger because the enchanted Christmas star that lit up the forest was missing. The star was essential for the feast, and it was up to Oliver to find it and bring it back before the celebration. With the Golden Goose's instructions in his mind, Oliver set off on his mission to find the enchanted Christmas star. The goose had mentioned that the star had been stolen by a mischievous frost goblin and hidden in the frozen peaks. As Oliver trudged through the valley, the air grew colder, and the snow beneath his boots crunched louder. The forest around him became eerily quiet, the only sound being the faint whistle of the wind. He clutched his lantern tightly, its firefly light cutting through the growing darkness. Oliver reached the base of the frozen peaks, a towering range of jagged, icy mountains. The slopes were steep and treacherous, covered in slick ice and sharp rocks. Undeterred, Oliver began his climb, using his sturdy walking stick to find footing. Snow flurries swirled around him, making it hard to see. Tiny footprints of the frost goblin were barely visible in the snow, urging Oliver to keep going. Halfway up the mountain, Oliver discovered an entrance to a glittering ice cave. The walls shimmered with frozen crystals that reflected his lantern's golden light. As he stepped inside, the temperature dropped further. The floor was slippery, and Oliver had to move cautiously. Echoes of faint giggles echoed through the cave. It was the Frost Goblin's lair. Oliver realized he was on the right track but had to tread carefully. As Oliver ventured deeper into the cave, the Frost Goblin began to play tricks. It created illusions of dancing snow creatures, swirling snowstorms, and even false paths to confuse him. Oliver paused and used his map to focus on the real path. He ignored the illusions, but the goblin's giggles grew louder, echoing menacingly around him. Deeper in the cave, Oliver reached a frozen door with glowing runes etched into it. It was a magical puzzle that needed solving to proceed. Oliver carefully studied the runes and noticed they formed a sequence of winter constellations. Using his knowledge of the stars, he aligned the runes correctly, and the door slowly opened with a low rumble. As the door opened, Oliver entered a grand chamber with icy stalactites hanging from the ceiling and a frozen throne at its center. Perched on the throne was the mischievous Frost Goblin, holding the enchanted Christmas star in its icy claws. The goblin sneered and sent a flurry of snow magic toward Oliver, who quickly jumped behind an ice pillar for cover. Oliver realized he couldn't defeat the Frost Goblin with force, so he hatched a clever plan. He pulled out the bundle of cinnamon sticks and dried oranges from his satchel. The sweet aroma wafted through the chamber, catching the goblin's attention. The goblin's icy demeanor softened as it sniffed the air and hopped off the throne, distracted by the festive scent. While the goblin was distracted, Oliver seized the moment. He snatched the Christmas star from the goblin's claws and darted out of the chamber. The goblin shrieked in anger and chased after him, but Oliver was quick and agile, weaving through the icy tunnels. The goblin's snow magic whizzed past him, but he didn't stop until he was out of the cave. Oliver emerged from the ice cave just as dawn broke over the frozen peaks. The sunlight bathed the icy mountains in a golden glow, and the Christmas star sparkled even brighter in his hands. The Frost Goblin stopped at the cave's entrance, unable to follow Oliver into the sunlight. Relieved, Oliver began his journey back to the valley. Oliver returned to the Valley of Glittering Snow, where the golden goose awaited him. With a gentle touch, Oliver placed the glowing Christmas star on the goose's crystal pedestal. The star rose into the sky, filling the valley with a warm, golden light. The creatures of the forest gathered, cheering for Oliver's bravery and cleverness. That evening, the valley transformed into a magical wonderland. Tables piled high with festive treats stretched across the snow, and lanterns lit up the entire forest. The golden goose, now glowing brighter than ever, thanked Oliver by gifting him a golden feather. As the feast began, Oliver joined his friends, enjoying the joy and warmth of Christmas Eve under the sparkling star.